And in just moments from now, talks between the centre and farmers' unions expected to start in the national capital at Vigyan Bhavan. The meeting is being held over there and 36 representatives from farmers' unions are supposed to be part of this meeting. The meeting comes even as farmers continue to demand withdrawal of centre's 3 farm laws and a new law to be formulated. That is their demand for minimum support price. I'm joined by my colleague Ayushman, who is outside Vigyan Bhavan. He's tracking all the developments there. Ayushman, have the union ministers or the government representatives and farmers reached Vigyan Bhavan yet?
Tanima, currently, let me show you what is happening out here. The large media congregation is present for taking the views of the farmer. On the other side, the farmers have gone inside the Vigyan Bhavan. Yet the union ministers who were also expected to come in a while. It is expected that Rajnath Singh along with NS Tomar will be here to have a deliberation with the protesting farmers. The farmers have been continuously reiterating their old demand, which is that the government should roll back all 3 laws. Before that, there is no point of negotiation that can actually take place. If you see the current situation, the farmers came in a bus, and this is the 32 farm unions delegation which have come. They have come. It is expected that they will also be presenting their viewpoint. The government will also talk to them. The senior representatives from the cabinet are going to talk to the farmers to actually craft out a route as to how the farmers can actually be given the kind of response what they feel. Currently, the farmers have said that anything be less than that of rolling back of these new laws will not satisfy them. How much of that will actually be discussed in that meeting, that can only be told after the farmers come out. But for now, the farmers have gone inside. We are awaiting for the arrival of the union minister, after which the meeting will start, Tanima.
That's right. Ayushman, also what we are reporting is the fact that Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is likely to actually lead the discussions. There might be, of course, other ministers. Surely, Agriculture Minister will also be present during the talks. But it is Rajnath Singh, the Defence Minister, who's been chosen for leading the talks because he's, of course, had previous stint as UP Chief Minister and had been the Union Agriculture Minister in Vajpayee government. But the fact also is that he himself comes from a farmer's family in Uttar Pradesh, which probably makes him an apt choice to lead the talks.
Yes, Tanima. In fact, if you see, currently Rajnath Singh is the one who was the first one to leave from that meeting, and 2 people, Rajnath Singh and NS Tomar, were the one who left the meeting, and they were expected. They are being expected here in Vigyan Bhavan, where the farmers' meet is going to take place. And as far as the role of Rajnath Singh is concerned, the senior leader in the union cabinet, who is known to be the stalwart, and currently we know for the fact that he is having that background of being the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, and has shared a very good rapport and has that mellow tone in which he can actually can talk to the farmers, can actually reach a conclusion. Because if you see the standoff right now, there is centre which is saying it is beneficial, the laws are beneficial for the farmers are opposing it. So somewhere a neutral ground has to be created, and the BJP government feels that Rajnath Singh is the suited person to carry out that discussion. Even if you see the attire of Rajnath Singh, till today he wears the dhoti and kurta. Currently, if you see in the overall scenario, Tanima, role of Rajnath Singh will be very important, and that's why he's been sent in this meeting, where Agriculture Minister will also be there, and the farmer union will be presenting their viewpoints.
Right, Ayushman, thank you so much for joining us on that. We'll, of course, keep coming to you as more developments take place there at Vigyan Bhavan, and we'll be keeping a close watch on all that. Let me now go across to my guests who are joining us on the show this afternoon. Anila Singh, spokesperson for the BJP. Welcome to the show. And Avik Saha, convener of Kisan Andolan, the farmers' wing of Swaraj Abhiyan. Thank you, both of you, for joining us for this discussion this afternoon. And this is at a time when there could be a breakthrough in the farmers' agitation. As we can see, finally, the farmers have, in fact, accepted centre's offer for talks, and they have, in fact, already reached Vigyan Bhavan for that crucial meeting. Anila Singh, coming to you first, what we have, in fact, seen is that There have been a number of high-level meetings over the past 3 days or so. There have been several times that top union ministers have met and they have tried different strategies starting from the weekend itself, saying that, okay, come to Burari, then we're going to have talks with you. That was not acceptable to the farmers. Then after that, of course, a couple of days went by and finally last night, that offer for holding talks today went out to the farmers. Do you think, and that is what some of your critics will tell you, that probably the approach that the centre had taken on this entire issue, there could have been a softer stand right from the beginning. Maybe they misread the agitation and didn't think that it will continue for so long?
The thing is that my voice is coming back. If you can get it corrected, please.
We will get it corrected. Ma'am, please continue.
All right. See, Bharatiya Janata Party, when we brought this law, it was definitely, and it is definitely in the favor of farmers. At that time also, opposition, especially if I talk about Congress, they had words against this earlier ordinance than the law. And the main issue was that why you didn't discuss with us, and that is untrue. The thing is, it was discussed in Parliament, and in Parliament, representatives of different political parties are there. And when it was passed from both the houses, this proves that yes, majorly public representatives, they voted for this ordinance and it turned into law. And if we see the name of these laws, totally it shows that it is in the favor of farmers. But somehow, whatever the reason is, I don't want to go into it because we very well know that agitation is there, farmers are there on the road, and especially majorly the farmers, they have come from Punjab and like from Uttar Pradesh, Bharatiya Kisan Union, they are giving them support as well. We are talking about the farmers, and definitely Bharatiya Janata Party is with the farmers, and that is why we have always said this thing that we are ready to discuss any confusion, any point which you want to. And Mr. Narendra Tomar had constantly been saying this thing, but nobody came ahead. Then this agitation has started. At that time also Narendra Tomar ji said that we are ready to have a dialogue because if anything has to be come to the conclusion, then a dialogue should be there. If there are certain things in your mind, fine. And we know that we have made it for your favor. There is a confusion. There may be a communication gap, and communication gap might, the reason behind it can be several. So today the meeting is there. I'm pretty sure that the farmers from Punjab region especially, they are participating in it, and any sort of confusion, any sort of communication gap is there, the government representatives, they are going to clear that.
Mr. Saha, coming to you, do you agree with what Anila Singh was saying there, that there have been several efforts made by the centre? Yes, there were several times that offer for talks went out, but do you think that the approach that they had taken right from the beginning, the centre's approach with regard to dealing with the farmers who have been out on the roads, armed with rations to continue the agitation for weeks and months, do you think the way that the farmers' agitation has been handled by the centre so far has been appropriate, or this should have been the approach right from the beginning?
On a day when a meeting is taking place, I think all of us should be positive, although we should have measured expectations. On a day of the meeting, what needs to be settled first is what are we meeting about, what are the points of difference, and then to start a series of talks. Everybody knows, it's common knowledge, that the Bharatiya Janata Party's governments at the centre and in Haryana have mishandled it. And on the issue of communicating outreach to farmers, it's factually wrong because on behalf of AIKSCC, of which I am the secretary, we have written several times seeking meetings, asking for dialogue, and that has not happened. Unfortunately, it took this protest for dialogues to happen. But now that it is happening, it's good. Let's understand very clearly that these are negotiations and not dialogue, because the farmers' demand is very clear. We want guaranteed income, and we want a place where we can enforce that guarantee. these laws stand in the way of that. Please remove these laws. This is a non-negotiable demand. So I'm not very clear on how the central government will respond to this. I do, however, believe that the central government today will at least try and understand what the farmers want. And then they will have to come back with some response. So yes, it's a good beginning. A bad past, a bad recent past is sought to be erased. And I hope going forward things will be better.
Mr. Saha, do you think that there is a middle path that we can look at, as you are saying that these are negotiations, probably not going to be a conclusive meeting? Nonetheless, is there a middle path that we can look at? Because the farmers have been pretty clear, even today, just ahead of, after they announced their intention of actually attending the meeting. But at the same time, they said that they are adamant, sticking to their stand demanding withdrawal of these 3 new laws. We have seen union ministers over the past few days constantly reiterating their faith in the new law, saying that it's for the benefit of the farmers. Do you think there is a middle path somewhere?
There is always a middle path. All those who are saying that this is good for the farmers do not actually know if it's good. Because if it's good for the farmers, only the future can tell. And if lots of people in BJP know what the future is, then that's very surprising. Usually human beings do not know too much about the future. The middle path is very clear. The government must understand what the farmers want, which I've already mentioned. The government must see whether the laws ensure that the wants are met. And if the government feels that no, these laws do not ensure, then the government can always go back to the drawing board. This insistence that what I have said or done is right and will not change, this is written cast in stone. This attitude must change if middle path has to be found. And I do believe, and I repeat, middle path can be found provided you want to find it. I do hope it is possible.
Right. Mr. Saha, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we'll have to cut across live to a comment coming in from the Agriculture Minister.
करने को पूरी तरह तैयार हैं, अब देखते हैं बातचीत होगी।
क्या आप लोग क्या विकल्प देंगे? क्या विकल्प देंगे कि आज आंदोलन समाप्त होने की दिशा में बढ़ सके?
पहले उनका प्रस्ताव आए ना, तब विकल्प की बात तो बाद में उठती है।
मांग तो आपको पता है सर, उनकी मांगे क्या है? MSP को लेकर सर आज जो आप लोगों की बैठक हुई थी नड्डा जी के आवास पर, वहाँ पर कुछ तय हुआ सर?
इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि अभी बैठक में बातचीत होगी, बातचीत में जो चर्चा में निष्कर्ष निकलेंगे तब बताएंगे आपको। अभी क्या है
सर, राजनाथ जी और अमित शाह जी भी
मैंने बताया ना, मैं सोम प्रकाश जी और पीयूष गोयल जी।
अच्छा, ठीक है सर, ठीक है सर, थैंक यू
तो आप देख सकते हैं।
That's a comment coming in from Narendra Tomar there as he goes into, enters Vigyan Bhavan for that meeting with farmers. Mr. Saha, sorry, if you were completing your point, please go ahead.
There is, however, a confusion in the mind of everybody, including farmer leaders. The Pradhan Mantri has been saying that these laws cannot be changed. They are good. People are misleading farmers. And 2 ministers, 3 ministers are sitting today to negotiate the very same laws. So I do hope that they have the authority to change what the Prime Minister has already articulated. If not, then the purpose of the meeting seems very hazy, unclear, and unproductive. So that's a confusion that the government itself and the ministers can clarify. But the atmosphere created till now with repeated reiterations that the law is good and nothing can be spoken about the law makes the meeting meaningless in my perspective.
That's right. In fact, we've seen those comments being reiterated repeatedly by union ministers, even while extending the offer for talks today. Actually, we heard the agriculture minister's comment, which came in last night, saying that because of winter and because of COVID, they have decided to prepone the talks, not talking about the merit of the demands, not commenting on the merit of the demands at all. Anila Singh, coming back to you, because we'll, of course, have to wait and see what the negotiations ultimately result in, what the dialogue or the talks that happen between the farmers and the government today, whether at all it breaks the deadlock of the agitation. But there have been questions raised by critics about the manner in which, the stance that the police, the Haryana police and the Delhi police took right in the beginning. There has, of course, been an FIR lodged by the police also on the clashes that took place at the border last week between the farmers and policemen at the barricades. We have in fact seen that there has been clashes right in the beginning, although the violence kind of piped down over the next few days. So there seems to be a change in approach, at least, that the centre decided to take after those first 2 days of the farmers' agitation. So the question being as to whether or not there should have been a softer stance right from the beginning when it comes to dealing with farmers. These are, at the end of the day, our annadatas. They need to be dealt with in a certain way. They're out on the roads in this biting cold for a reason. Although initially, of course, their agitation was meant to be for 2 days, but they are now equipped to continue this for months and weeks ahead. Surely there should have been a better strategy to deal with them.
See, the police force did what was instructed. Again, my voice is coming back. So the police force did what instructions were given to them by their seniors. But yes, personally, I think that water cannon, tear gas, I think that could have
avoided. They were marching towards Delhi, and and in a big number. So it is a truth, I can say, that the farmers coming from Punjab, they were very strong-willed. I do not want to get into that what type of politics was going in between. I don't want to discuss that. But yes, farmers were there, and they wanted to come to Delhi. I think the police force, they should have avoided water cannons and tear gases and all. They would have listened to them. They wanted a place to sit and do the agitation. They had certain demands, and in today's date, meeting is happening. So, yes, the water cannon and tear gas, somehow, personally, I feel that could have been avoided.
Right. Anila Singh, also, let's talk about the fact that the Agriculture Minister, we just saw him going in for that meeting, but it's Rajnath Singh who has actually been chosen to lead the talks. Considering the fact, of course, that he's from a farmer's family in Uttar Pradesh, he's had a stint as Chief Minister as well as the Union Agriculture Minister. Clearly a good choice for leading the talks with the farmers, and he's also seen as a troubleshooter for the centre.
Rajnath Singh ji is a good choice. Number one, he comes from Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh, we know that it is the most populated state of our country, and the majority of the population has rural background. They come from agricultural community, and he has been Chief Minister, and he has been Agriculture Minister. So he understands the pulse. So that is the most important thing, that how you communicate. That is very, very important. Perhaps at times, there is a good intention, but if communication is not in a proper way, then good intention turns out to be in a very bad taste. So I think Rajnath ji, he is not only the very senior leader in our party, but we know that he had, during his time, he had done a few of the great reforms in agricultural sector as well. So I think it is a very good choice.
Right. We'll, of course, have to wait and see what is the outcome of that meeting. Mr. Saha, coming back to you, as you said, of course, that this could just be the first level of negotiations that are taking place between the farmers and the centre. We've seen meetings happening earlier this year as well. Not much came out of it. Where do you think things went wrong? Do you think there's, of course, been agitation right from the beginning with regard to these laws? The bills were passed in Parliament. We've seen Punjab farmers agitating for weeks and months now. But it's come to this, that they had to try and enter the national capital, following which initially people thought it's only for 2 days, but then they made it clear that they are here for the long haul. Where do you think things went wrong? Could something have been done differently by the centre in order to not let things come to such a pass that there are so many strategy meetings now being done in order to figure out how exactly to break this deadlock? How could centre have handled this differently?
First, I want to tender my deepest respect to Anila ji, for being one of the few BJP spokespersons who can plainly speak. Thank you, ma'am. It was so refreshing to hear you speak so clearly and plainly. There has been an intelligence failure, actually. The Punjab unit of the BJP could not give proper feedback to the central unit about what farmers wanted and what they were doing. So the government always underestimated the demand of the farmers and the strength of the farmers to realize that demand. Which is why these blunders took place along the way, this Haryana government's behavior. The farmers were passing through Haryana. They had not broken any law. What was the Haryana government doing against them and why? So, if the government now understands exactly what the requirement is, who is asking for it, how many people are asking for it, then the government will be able to deal with it better. But unfortunately, even today, for today's meeting, the government still believes that this is a Punjab problem. Punjab farmers are a delegate. We have to do something so that they go back and stop blocking the roads. So let's talk to them and do something so that they can go back. Now, if this is a central law, this will affect Bihar, Uttar Pradesh as much as any Punjab. So tomorrow, if Uttar Pradesh farmers in lakhs reach up to Delhi, will the government say it's a Uttar Pradesh problem? So this fundamental lack of realization of what the problem is and who are affected by this problem persists. And I sincerely believe that the central government, in order to move forward, must quickly understand that this is an all-India issue, an all-India movement of farmers. And because of distances and travel restrictions, you may not be able to get to see the all-India nature of it yet. But in weeks or months, you will see the all-India character. The government needs to actually review the law, needs to understand whether the law that they believe will do good for the farmers also believe the same. And this is the core issue. So I request the government to treat this as an all-India issue, call all India farmers organizations, and to hear the farmers' problems and perceptions carefully, not to advertise to the farmers that this is a good law, we made it, it's good for your future. And like the Prime Minister said, I am telling you it's good, believe me. That's not a good way of dealing with a negotiation. Negotiation means trying to hear and understand what the other side wants and seeing whether you have the space and bandwidth to give that. That's what a negotiation will succeed. That kind of negotiation will succeed. This kind of trying to hoodwink each other will not succeed.
Right there, and hopefully a middle ground will be reached today after the talks which are held in the afternoon today. Anila Singh, Avik Saha, thank you so much for joining us for this discussion this afternoon. Welcome back. We're keeping our focus squarely on the farmers and central government meeting, which is going to start in a short while from now at Vigyan Bhavan. We have seen the Agriculture Minister there reaching Vigyan Bhavan. Farmers' representatives have already reached the venue. This meeting is being watched closely because it comes on the 6th day of the farmers' protest, and it is hopeful. Farmers are also hopeful that there will be something concrete that the centre has to offer in these talks which are taking place. Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, likely to lead the negotiations on behalf of the centre. 36 farmers' representatives attending that meeting, which is to start in a short while from now at Vigyan Bhavan. So what we can in fact see is that there already several people, key stakeholders, have reached that venue in the national capital.